Okay guys, the Obey 10F has finally been released. We've been waiting forever for this car since day one of this update, and is finally out. One of the best cars of this DLC, not the fastest, but if you guys watch throughout this whole video, you're gonna find out that it is one of the fastest sports cars in the game now, even beating the top car in the sports class. Now this car doesn't have any House Special Works upgrades, so either if you're on PC, last gen or new gen, everyone's going to be getting the same upgrades. So let's start with testing this car out. I will be uploading another video on like customizing it and everything, and just discussing the general feel of this car. But this video, I'm just going to be showing you how it compares to the top sports car in the game, the Itali GTO. So just finish up this lap here on my custom car testing track. You see I kind of messed up a little bit there. I will fix that later on, but just for the first 5 laps, my best lap was (1 minute and 3 seconds, 0.4). So very fast, but let's test out against the top sports car in the game, the Itali GTO. Now there is the Pariah, which is, if you're not that comfortable driving the Itali GTO, then the Pariah is good for you, because the Pariah is so easy to drive, and that's why it's been one of the fastest until this car came out. Now this car, even though it is the fastest, it takes a lot of skill to drive, so if you're not comfortable handling it on the bumps and corners, because this does spin out a lot, the bumps just destroy this car, then even if you're good, you might still mess up because it is terrible to drive. But this car is right now the fastest car, and even after going up against the 10F, it is still faster, but only by about half a millisecond, which is crazy. So just looking at this gameplay here, this car, not the best to drive. It goes crazy over bumps. Now this track, I designed it so there's some bumps, there's some city street roads, and there's 2 main straights on the highway. So you're getting the lap time test and the top speed test. And the top speed is what surprises me the most, which is crazy. We will get to that at the very end of this video. But just for the lap time test in this segment of this video, the Itali GTO is going to beat it by just about a few seconds. So finishing up this lap here. As you see, the bumps are kind of messy with this car, but we get a 1 minute 0.2, I think. Let's see what we get. We got 1 minute 2 seconds 0.6, which is just under a second of the 10F. But let's test the top speed, because this is where it gets kind of crazy. This is where the game changes a lot. So starting off with the 10F. Now this is a wide body. I forgot I mentioned this at the start, but the wide body is a tiny bit faster than just a regular 10F with all the bunnies upgrades, which is kind of weird. I don't think that ever happened before. Maybe it's something to do with the spoilers, or maybe the suspension changes, but it is a little bit faster, the wide body. So pick the wide body. First, it looks a lot better. And anyways, we reach about 120 miles per hour in the 10F, and with the Itali GTO, we only reach about 117 miles per hour on this low straight, and I even tested on a longer straight later on, and we still only get about 118 miles per hour as a top speed, which is surprising, because the lap time, the Itali GTO is a lot better in the corners, just because 10F, the braking is kind of wonky. The braking sometimes it doesn't want to brake, and sometimes it over brakes. It's kind of weird. But the Itali GTO, even though it's bumpy, even though it likes to spin out a lot, the turning is reliable and the braking is reliable. That's where it makes up most of the lap time. But top speed, the 10F wide body, I don't know about the regular version because I have the wide body kit, but the wide body beats it by just about 2 miles per hour more. But the acceleration on GTO is just so good. So in the lap time, the Itali GTO will get it if the race circuit does have more acceleration points than straights. because it has more straights than the wide body of the 10F. We'll get it. Now displaying it side by side here. Wide body, GTO on the circuit. So I'm going to tell you guys the key differences here. First, the straight. The 10F kind of has an edge over the GTO right here on the straight. As you see, I'm getting to the apex faster in the 10F just by a split second. And you will see here I get an even bigger lead. But when the corners come, the 10F is a little weird when braking. Sometimes it doesn't let you brake, especially on these hills. It's really weird about braking on this hill right here. As you see, I kind of have to slow down more and let the drag slow me down more instead of my brakes. And the GTO, it's so easy to brake and turn with the GTO as long as you don't spin out or the bumps don't send you flying somewhere else. But yeah, 10F still a little bit in the lead even after that little segment. But here, the turning while still going full throttle is where it makes a huge difference. The 10F is kind of hard to drive right here, but the Itali GTO is just so good. Even over the bumps, it beats the 10F. And let's see the times we get one more time just side by side here. 1.3 seconds, 0.4 for the 10F, and 1.2.6. And now top speed one more time. So acceleration on GTO is so much better than the wide body. Maybe it's because I have the wide body on, who knows. But for now, GTO acceleration wise is the best. But here is where the 10F starts to come back. I mean, the top speed only by 2 miles per hour is a big difference. Even just on airport, as you see here, it's only about 0.2 seconds that the Itali GTO beats us. But again, the top speed is better on the 10F, so if we had a little bit longer of a straight, the 10F would come out on top of this. But yeah, that was just a little comparison on these two cars. So definitely, if you have the GTO, pick up the 10F. If you don't have the GTO, pick up the 10F. It's a very good car, highly rated for a good reason. Also, it looks amazing.